I the a-hole for not sharing my success with others? I've thought about creating my own finance blog for 3 years. Everything was tentative, but I eventually took the leap and created my blog. I put hours into the infrastructure, design, and posts. I'm so passionate about blogging, and finance is such a niche topic that I never thought I would succeed. 2 years later, I'm able to live off of the money I'm making from my blog, and I'm making more from my blog than I have from any job I've ever had. In the early stages, I always sent my BFF my blog posts to not only just share my posts with her, but to even ask suggestions about how I can improve. I also thought about potentially hiring her one day if she were interested. They were never long posts, but she never read them. She just wasn't interested, so I stopped sending them to her. She started noticing minor lifestyle changes, such as buying a home I've always rented, and she asked me how I could afford it. She doesn't know how much money I make, but she knows that I blog full-time now, and she now seems interested in my blogs, asking to read them. She also asked to borrow money to replace the engine in her car. I told her I didn't have the money. I knew she couldn't pay me back, and she said, "You blog about finance and you were good with money. How do you not have the money?" I figured you'd help a friend in a time of need since I would do the same for you if I had it. Now for the top comments. Not today, Hull. I would do the same for you. But she had a chance to help you with her time and she didn't. Time and money are both valuable resources. She did not see fit to spend her resources on you, so why spend yours on her? Also, it is quite cringe-worthy that she'll ask how come you can't lend her money since you're a finance wizard. Well, lady, because I don't make stupid decisions with my money, such as lending it to someone that chances are won't pay me back. Lol, here is a financial tip. Don't lend money to deadbeats. I don't ever lend money. If someone asks me for money, I always gift it to them. Not a good idea to do business with a friend. If I fully trust a person, maybe we can talk about a loan. Otherwise, I only gift. Not today, Hull. She would do the same for you. She didn't even read your blog posts. She just wants to use you. Not today, Hull. User alert. She only finally gave your blog attention when it would benefit her. Okay, but the real question, what's the blog? This sounds like something I need in my life. Not today, Hull. I hate people like this. The ones who are only interested after seeing the fruits of your labor. Couldn't be bothered in the beginning, but now that the success is rolling in, shake my head. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for uninviting my friend for my engagement party? I, 26 female, recently got engaged to one of my old high school crushes. He was a foreign exchange student from Brazil. Last year, due to the state of things, I got stuck there during a business-related trip and met up with him, Gio, as we stayed in contact after he went back home. Things kicked off romantically, and we've been together since. I haven't gotten around to explain the relationship in full to our friends, just that I met someone and we're engaged. I'll be coming home soon and recently got into the details of our relationship with my friends. One of my friends, Anya, started talking about our old Brazilian exchange program and how she always liked Gio and hoped she'd get to see him when she came down for the wedding. She called him the one that got away and said she wished she took Portuguese so she could have gotten close to him. She really seemed enamored, and I couldn't bring myself to break her heart since she spoke so highly of him. However, yesterday I broke the news that Gio was my fiancé, and she seemed a bit off. She seemed even more eager to meet him and started DMing him on Instagram. The messages weren't overtly flirty, but they were a bit odd. She asked him if he was sure about me and if he gave himself enough time to explore. I'm really uncomfortable and have sent her a text and inviting her from the party. She called me a stuck-up and an a-hole for putting my jealousy before our friendship. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She was the one who let jealousy ruin your friendship. Don't invite her back out of guilt or anything else. It's one thing to have a crush on someone, but to actively try to dismantle an engagement and then act like a victim is repulsive. I mean, hands down, she's trying to sabotage the relationship. Why would you want someone like that at your engagement party or even wedding? She called me stuck-up and an a-hole for putting my jealousy before our friendship. No, she put her desire for Gio over your friendship. Her messages to Gio weren't called for. Kudos to him for letting you know. Her behavior made your decision justified. It's your party. You shouldn't have to be uncomfortable around one of your friends. Not a hole. No, you put your relationship with your partner Gio before your friendship with her, especially since she seems to try to become a wedge between you. Selfish? Yep. Justified? Also yep. Not a hole. I'm not even sure you could call it selfish, considering how uncomfortable Gio might be with this woman hitting on him at his own engagement party. I'd expect my husband to disinvite someone who was acting like a creep toward me to any event, let alone our own engagement party. Although I do think this whole situation is incredibly weird, why did no one know about Gio until now? Is OP rushing into things? It's just odd. We were all busy. The time was never right to go into details. Someone was sick, someone dies, someone got evicted, someone was pregnant, etc. It was never the right time to go. This is Gio. Next story. Am I the a-hole because I told my friend that she deserved to be fired? My friend and I met when we worked together. She was one of the first people to talk to me when I started and introduced me to other people that worked there. Well, I'm not sure what happened, but she started to get lazy. Show up late, stand around and talk. Which is whatever, but when other people have to pick up your slack, it's BS. When I was put on teams with her, other people would complain about her not pulling her weight. There were times we were trying to get finished and off early, and she still had social hour and cost us to stay till regular time or even late. She was being talked to by management repeatedly. She'd tell me she got yelled at. Their big thing was her being consistently late. I told her to leave earlier. Well, I have to drive all the way from. It's a long drive. I tried helping her improve with other things they coached her on, but she had an excuse for everything. This went on a year or so, and I found a better job and left. She kept asking me to get her a job there, but since I knew how she was, I told her they weren't hiring. We'd hang out, and it was a lot easier not working with her. She'd still vent, but I wasn't on the other side of it, so I could be more objective and less annoyed. This has been 2 years. She called me the other day and said she got fired. I said I was sorry to hear that, but places are hiring and she can bounce back. She started going on and on about how this was out of the blue and they never warned her. I bit my tongue. I'm a supervisor now, so she wanted my opinion if I thought she deserved to be fired. I kept dodging the question and saying, I don't know, I'm not there anymore. She said, no, just be honest. What do you think? You worked there. I didn't want to, but I knew she wouldn't let it go, so I said, honestly, no offense, but yeah, they warned you like 100 times. I even tried telling you how to improve, but you wouldn't listen. She said I was harsh and should talk to me later. Am I the a-hole? I probably am, but don't tell people to be honest when you don't want the truth. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You tried to be polite and she kept pushing you, so you gave her an honest answer about her job performance. She doesn't need to be cuddled. She needs to wake up and work on her performance and attitude. It may sting, but she sounds like she had it coming. Why else would she try to get another job? I bet she knew she was no longer able to get away with stuff. She needed to be dealt the harsh reality that if she gets lazy and irresponsible with her work, she's gonna be canned. Hopefully, she learns from this since that would be good for her. So true. So many people ask for an honest opinion, but when they tell an honest answer, they will start acting like you were an a-hole or you were so harsh. A. She was warned 100 times before it happened. B. She asked a question and wouldn't let go when you said you didn't answer. Don't ask a question, get an answer, then go all surprised Pikachu face. She is for sure the a-hole. Let her be salty all she wants. You are not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She asked you to be honest, and so you were. She could have taken your honesty and used it to improve herself, but she decided not to go that route, so it's not on you. Not the a-hole. She's got to do better at her next gig, and if you lie, that won't help. Yeah, she was prodding because she knew but needed to hear it from someone else to confirm. Insisted on hearing it from someone else to confirm, then got mad at them for it. Sometimes I wonder if people like this do it because they do know, and they do need to hear, but they can't stand knowing they did it to themselves. So they push this kind of thing just to have someone else to get mad at. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for disinviting a coworker for perpetually spoiling things? Almost every Friday, my coworkers and I will go out and get drinks and socialize. More often than not, it's an open invitation for the entire office, and even people outside of our team will join. We typically have a great time, but only when Logan, 20s male, doesn't show. Logan means well, but is easily excitable and engages people in conversations they're not interested in. The worst of this behavior has to do with spoiling movies, shows, games, etc. A few weeks ago, I mentioned that I had tickets to see the new Mortal Kombat movie over the weekend. Logan lit it up and immediately responded, "You'll love the scene where, spoiler, happens and when, spoiler, shows up." I was bummed and walked away without continuing the conversation. Later that same night, Amy, another co-worker, was discussing a TV show she was a few episodes behind in. Logan blurts out, "I can't believe that beloved character dies in episode whatever number." Amy, who had obviously not yet watched it, went silent and turned away. Logan laughed and said, "I just can't help it. I get too excited." None of us were amused. A few days later, in our team-only group chat, someone brought up Logan's tendency to spoil things and admitted that they wished he weren't invited to outings because of it. Multiple people agreed and began to list everything Logan had spoiled for them. With this in mind, I didn't add Logan to the email invite for the next week's hangout. He noticed he never got an invite and began to ask around. As I was the one who'd written the email, he was eventually directed to me. He pulled me aside as I left for lunch and let me know I excluded him by mistake. Rather than try and play it off, I just told him the truth, that the fact he spoils everything is obnoxious and rude. I told him that joining conversations just to spoil things is bad enough, but he also starts conversations with spoilers. Logan was immediately defensive, claiming it's not his fault we're slow to watch, /play, etc., and that he's just making conversation. I said that if he swore he'd be more conscious about this habit, that he could join us that Friday. He came, and lo and behold, spoiled the plot of a movie I wanted to see in theaters. Out of frustration, I called him a prick and told him that this is exactly why no one socializes with him. He left soon after, and even though I said what everyone was thinking, I felt like an a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Edit. A few weeks ago, we had lunch catered and all joined in the break room. A co-worker had brought a book to read during lunch, and Logan saw the cover, pulled up the Wikipedia, and read the entire synopsis aloud, including the big twist ending. I asked him why he would do that, and he responded, "Why not?" Not the a-hole. That is infuriating, and he deserves to be called out. If the group of people don't want him there, don't invite him. I would recommend planning these outings on your own time, such as at home during your lunch, and writing from your personal email to everyone's personal emails. This is to protect yourself if he goes to HR for bullying/exclusion. The job can't comment on anything done in your time and with your property. Absolutely seconding the suggestion to protect yourself HR-wise. But you're absolutely not the a-hole. This dude sounds obnoxious. Deliberately obnoxious, per the Wikipedia stunt with a book. This guy's dying to learn the consequences of his own actions. Yep, he absolutely knows what he's doing, and is doing it deliberately. Sounds like he's pretty much asking to be uninvited at this point. His little "but I'm just so excited" act is pathetic, bordering on hilariously pathetic. Please tell him the next time he starts his whining that literally thousands of people know what he's all about, and think he's a weapons-grade stain on the underwear of humanity. Not the a-hole. He absolutely can control his behavior. He chooses not to. He is deriving pleasure from spoiling things for everyone else. He can learn to control himself, or he can be excluded. The choices really do seem simple. Agreed. This isn't accidental behavior. It's intentional behavior that he has been asked to stop. So he is choosing to spoil and also choosing to do something that he knows is upsetting to others. Especially the situation mentioned in the edit. It wasn't his excuse of a "I'm too excited not to share" situation, because he had to Google the book to ruin it. I wouldn't want to spend any time with someone like that either. Not the a-hole. I think you're honest and decent to explain it and give him a chance. He blew it, but you tried. I have a friend like that, and as soon as they kick off, I'd cover my ears yelling la 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 in their face. Took a few times, but they got it. This was one-on-one convos. Imagine a whole work group yelling that in your face with their hands on their ears. Haha, the insanity.